Greetings, and welcome to Cinema Imagination, a series dedicated to showcasing the many possibilities that film can offer in narrative and aesthetics. My name is Esteban Rodriguez, and the third film we will be discussing is an example of what embracing complete artifice in art can give us when adapting a story all about storytelling and make-believe. This is Powell and Pressberger's take on the Tales of Hoffmann. Based on the Jacques Offenbach opera of the same name, this is a film that, while its own sounds like an oddity in and of itself, when put alongside the rest of the artist's filmography, you can clearly point to this film as a sort of apex for what the duo had always wanted to express in cinema. The visual panache and sensorial feelings felt in the stories told in their lens would be unsurprisingly such a fitting component when bringing the story of Hoffmann to life, allowing for the whimsical and romantic music of Offenbach to coincide with the imagery of color and magic. Most definitely, the first thing that people will say about the Tales of Hoffmann is that visual component that is so uniquely and solely of this piece. From its stage sets, its elaborate costume design, to its saturated color palette, everything about what this film conveys on an aesthetic level is a mean to signal that nothing we see here can be related on a realist form of cinema. Quite the contrary, it is a world of pure fantasy. Usually, when cinema delves into this kind of genre, there is always a more grounded backdrop for which the fantasy portions can reel in so that there can be a clear differentiation on which is which. For this film, however, that line is forever blurred, as the whole design indicates that we do not look for what we at any point see as the grounded reality. While this may seem like an alienating concept, it does relate back to its origins of what Hoffmann represented and what Offenbach wanted to present with that original author's work.
Lie down there in the ditch, and for a pillow the pavement, and for a roof the sky.
What about sheep?
The rain.
Are you having nightmares, Hoffmann?
The first song is yours, then. Don't make us.
The opera itself was based on a few of the stories of writer E.T.A. Hoffmann, who most will know his influence with the story of the Nutcracker, with its famous adaptation being that of the ballet written by Tchaikovsky. Hoffmann constantly wrote within the genres of fantasy and gothic horror, and so what Offenbach chose to do in the opera inspired by him was for the character of Hoffmann to go through his own fantastical journey of his own creations. In the vein of Dante's Divine Comedy, he travels from story to story, exploring a very specific feeling that is shown throughout the story: love. From his relationship with the artificial doll of Olympia to the tragic loss of Antonia, there is a thought that maybe, no matter what, it is all the same story about himself, all from his own surreal mind. The Tales of Hoffmann, in all its forms, deals with that capturing of imagination and delving into fantasy. Specifically, what Powell and Pressberger's film showcases, like any great piece of visual art, is expressing those ideas in an almost pure, external fashion. Of course, when we watch a film like this, we can tell right away that this is fake, and it's supposed to be fake. But we must also acknowledge the appeal of the fakeness. To have, at least for a moment, an ideal form of what life could possibly be for anyone. Hoffmann's journey was about discovering that which is beyond our grasp, and perhaps that same sentiment is shared for all of us.